r/interestingas frick. Ripjaw9745 says. A really old sword, almost 1,000 years old but not sure, found in nearly perfect condition in a grave in Germany. Included photo. Mick Joff says. It seriously looks like a glass sword from an Elder Scrolls game. Jizrak says. It's one of Kagranak's tools, we have to find the other two, and the heart of Lorcan. Mosland says. That looks like Bronze Age sword, so at least 2,500 years old. Cactus Cowboy says. How about those arrow tips, wow. Chunkataco22 says. I didn't see those at first, they look gnarly. Dazzling Grass 2595 says. It's still sharp. P-Wing says. Yeah, but it's also cursed, so that's a double-edged sword. Hills44 says. Yeah, you. Rob graves and you find all sorts of valuables. Halfberg Edmison says. The sword can be accurately dated. The date of burial is totally a different thing. Bury a new watch today and decided bury 100-year-old watch on the same day, how would you know? They have to date the other things around to get an approximation. r/interestingas frick. Wiganlad82 says. I saw my first King Charles stamp today. Included photo. Sleepy McSleepyhead says. Imagine licking the backside of that. Elephant Ear Fanatic says. I think the ears are too small. Muscled Manatee says. You sure that's not Mitch McConnell? Kizis says. I thought that was Palpatine, my chancellor. Basic Consideration 6 says. It must be awfully nice to wake up in the morning and smell the coffee. In Brazil. Atheist Forever says. Failed to recognize him. Should have included his sausage fingers. Churrofoot says. This is the least interesting thing I have seen in months. Relevant GIF 5011 says. I thought that was Roosevelt off the US dime. Queen Mill says. Me too. Liftover Inspiration says. Your mail is royally chucked. Jeremy Jones says. I got a couple of Tobanis with his portrait, it's not flattering. r/interestingas frick. Idiot Enter Red Room says. Very cool indeed. Included photo. Which Ruvinid says. This is complete BS. Jessishura Siegel says. Yeah, who the frick made this stupid study? My Popsocrates says. I'll never carrot your mind. Hobesnch says. The louder the exhaust on your vehicle. A God-beloved Jedi Alvarez says. For humans it's the bigger the car. The free ED to Tensway says. Explains Trump really well. Millhouse026 says. Denzel going the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room, I tells you this. Cutlass Music says. Also works with trucks. As soon as I got a larger truck mine shrank. Cicera Park says. r/Wall Street Bets. Evening Agency 8987 says. Trump. Idiot Savant says. Aren't we all monkeys though? r/interestingas frick. JC 201,946 says. This interesting plant is native to Australia. Included photo. Colosso 95 says. Looks like some kind of defense against birds. From the plant. If there's a bird on every flower I can't land. Or something. What do I know? Mysterious Cam 398 says. That's my thought too, but also at the same time, how the hell does something with no eyes to see model its leaves after a bird? Damn nature, you scary. Lesornia says. That's because you think that this flower thought of a way to not be attacked by birds and came with that. You think of it as how a human handles the issue. It's not what happened. This plant randomly took that form and has been fine since it looks like some birds. The other plants who took other forms that didn't look like birds got wrecked and disappeared. That's how it works. Plants, animals, etc. takes many forms and tries many things. We only see those who got lucky and survived. All the other tries didn't. Swally 1970 says. As I know of Australia, which do not, it is probably some odd super rare form of an insect that is poisonous and deadly. r/interestingas frick. Diesel Flame 1819 says. In 1984, Ronald Reagan won the largest landslide in American presidential history. He carried 49 out of 50 states and received 525 electoral votes. Included photo. BX 1965 says. Mondale only won his home state. Stranger Citizen says. And DC. Rebsitus says. DC is not a state, but a bit of a foregone conclusion he'd win. DC has voted strongly Democrat, 74% minus 92% in every election since it received electoral votes in 1964. Vicariously Witching says. Ronald Reagan? The actor? And who's vice president? Jerry Lewis? I suppose Jane Wyman is the first lady. Quickanabadi 2011 says. Nice. Duidian says. Heavy. Jewish Space Laser says. Would Reagan and his platform even be competitive to win the Republican nomination today? Pandagesus says. His Let the Gays Die of AIDS platform still holds popularity in the party. r/interestingas frick. Bradley 06232005 says. This is the smallest active duty ship in the United States Navy. Mini tug. Included photo. Sweet Sexy Jesus says. Baby voice who's a big strong tugboat. You are, tickle tickle. Mixteve 87 says. Rolls over for belly rub sinks. Harper's Ghost says. No, it won't sink. That one life preserver will be enough to have it float. Automatic Arachnid 21 says. It's a benchy, stop with the nonsense. Jammer Z00 says. Not bad quality, but Z-axis prob needs tightening. Shriup 19 says. Oh god, r/3D printing is leaking. Chaben Blob 33 says. Development cost, $77.3 billion. Cool Discordant says. Bursts into flames if tied to the pier from the bow. Fenexj says. 100% more combat effective than the Russian fleet. Thorbert Thesnovella says. Do you think it's equipped with a rooty tooty point and shooty? r/interestingas frick. JC 201,946 says. An interesting approach. Included photo. Goldpanus says. Used to drive me nuts when I worked in an office. Every hour a group would get up and go out for a smoke. with the time to wait for the elevators, and getting outside was more than 15 minutes. It was like a social club, chatting and laughing in the summer, enjoying the day, while the rest of us sat at our desk. I finally said, "Frick it," and just started going with them for a walk and some fresh air while they smoked. Boss asked me if I smoked one day, and I said no, but I enjoy the lifestyle. I come on, your pet says. We have a policy for non-smokers. They can take the same break as smokers. Just walk around, play on the Switch, etc. Distribution EC6682 says, if your job involves looking at a PC all day long, it's kind of mandatory to get your eyes off it every few hours for a few minutes. Hugo Zackenbush 2 says, we used to have a legless family dog called Cigarette. Every night Dad would bring him outside for a drag. Pritchard 21 says, OMG. First, probably the best laugh of the day. Rich Green Brown Blue says, my supervisor at a daycare I work started smoking again. She said in her family they always said going to walk the dog when they went outside for a smoke. So she would stick her head in my classroom door and saying I'm going to walk the dog. Kids would hear and ask where she kept her dog. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.